Doug, you wrote the book Papa Don't Pope.
I did that.
So the question is, if Papa doesn't pope, why do you celebrate Christmas, you papist?
Yeah, yeah. Merry Christmas, you filthy animal, or whatever. Here's the. Let me back up for a minute. There's a difference between, and I'm going to use lowercase r and lowercase a here. There's a difference between the Anabaptist approach to the Reformation and the magisterial reformational approach to the Reformation. So if you ask an Anabaptist, again, I'm not talking about Mennonites, but someone in the broad Anabaptist stream,
Right.
A question like, where was your church before the Reformation? Their answer is going to be something like, hiding in caves from you guys mostly here. Right? So we were part of the independent, out in the wilderness, tied to stakes, so it was exiles. We're the exiled church from the established church. If you ask a classical Protestant, where was your church before the Reformation? You'll get an answer something like, well, where was your face before you washed it? Okay, so the medieval Catholic Church, the people who built Salisbury Cathedral, are my brothers. That's the Christian church. Now, the Christian church, and I also believe, because I'm a good Protestant, I also believe that the universal church, the invisible church, included many of the people who were run out I think there were some saintly types among the Waldensians and people who were living on the periphery, and then there were our covenant brothers in the institutional church. And to say that was where was your face before you washed it, is not to deny that it had dirt on it and that it needed washing. Okay, so one of the things that happened in the Reformation is, well, what did the Reformers do when they washed the face? What did they get rid of? And they got rid of the celebration of the anniversary of the death of St. Dennis's cat. Right.
Okay, yeah.
So in the medieval period, you had this. The whole thing was clogged with saints' days. Okay, and the Reformers, and this is, I'm a Protestant Reformed guy. The Reformers wanted to dial it back to the 5 evangelical feast days. So they wanted to celebrate. They didn't want to celebrate martyrs' days or saints' days or things. They wanted to celebrate things that were connected to the life of Christ, right? The birth of Christ. And Calvin, for example, didn't want to celebrate Christmas on the 25th of December. Calvin wanted to mark it on the nearest Sunday.
Okay.
Right. So there were some debates among the Reformers about how we're to mark it. But once you get to the folks who are saying, let's level the whole thing and start over from scratch, you're dealing with an Anabaptist vibe.
Right.
Okay. So I do believe that we should. I'm a Puritan, which means that I would like to purify the institutional church of its remaining popish vestiges, but I don't think everything in the medieval church is, by definition, a popish vestige. So sermons, the Lord's Supper, commemorating events in the life of Christ that are major events in the New Testament, I don't see that as a distinctively Roman Catholic thing at all.
Thanks.